Morning, everybody. How you all doing? It is March the 22nd. I want to be clear about what's going on this weekend. I need you all to see that Duke University. Please understand it is a problem. Anyhow, just getting back from Kansas and spent some time out there with Rashi. Thank you, sis, yet again for being a great and gracious host. Thank you. I wanted to make sure that was on silent. Not a lot to do in Kansas. It's eating and sleeping. I worked out though. I did. I got up early, got down to the gym in the mornings, and started really working out. And I will tell you, shouts out to cuz Vic was telling me, he was like, yo, it's best because I'm talking to people. I'm like, yo, what's the best time to do it? Is it better to do it in the morning? Is it better to do it in the evening before you go to sleep? Because I'm one of those dudes that I like to shower before I go to sleep. And I'm not one of them cats that's going to shower 4 or 5 times a day. That ain't going to be me. That's just not me. So he was like, cuz for real, it's better to do it in the morning because it gives you like this extra boost of energy. And in my mind, I'm like, that's bullshit. Like, I'm going to be tired. But in all honesty, I felt great. I really did. It really did give me that burst of energy. I was hungry. I was definitely hungry. Like the appetite increased. I don't know if that was because I'm fat or if that was because of the exercise, but either way, I was definitely more hungry during the day, and I got to figure that part out without a doubt. But I mean, you're burning calories, so I guess you need more. So I'll figure that out. Long story short, it was great. It really was. I plan on continuing it, and I'm going to just keep pushing. Don't laugh at me. It's not funny. It's the truth. God dang it. But yeah, it's it was just one of those things, man. I'm really digging it. I said I was going to do it. It was like, well, I'm going to be in Kansas, so it's not like a whole lot to do that's going to distract me in the evening hours, so on and so forth. So let me just make sure I get to sleep at a decent hour, wake up and do it. So yeah, I'm going to look forward to continuing that this week and hopefully many, many more to go, to be honest with you. But this week, we're going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about the astronauts returning. Unfortunately, we lost George Foreman yesterday, not the grill, the individual. We lost the man yesterday, the legend, for real. In addition to that, we'll be talking about what else did I say we was going to talk about, Brother Barry? Oh, Brother Barry brought up something very good on his show earlier, and I wanted to talk about that. The dismantling of the education department as well. Wanted to get into that. Brother, you had a great show today.
Thank you.
One of the things I did have as a side note is something that you brought up, which was your state senator that got popped in that ring. I definitely want to discuss that a little bit further because there was another case in Florida. I don't know if this got enough national attention. I wanted to talk about that as well. So we'll tie those two things together. Lastly, there was some drama on the Breakfast Club. And if you all remember, and I was hoping Sister Rashi was going to be on with us today. If you all remember that, okay, she's somewhere in there. I think she may come on at some point. She said, "Great show, brother Barry." Morning, how you doing? There was some drama that we had not so long ago. Rashi voiced her opinion about how she was feeling that she was being treated on the show, and I was watching what happened on the Breakfast Club and instantly replaying what had happened on our show. So obviously, with me being in Kansas, right next to Missouri, had some time to spend with the sister, and we were talking, and we talked about that situation. We talked about our situation, and I think we had a great. I think hope that we stepped away from that, understanding both situations a little better, theirs and ours. You know, one of the things in radio is, at least I was taught, just to respect the clock. And it's very important that when we start to get into things, whatever they may be, if there's a constant discussion amongst all of us going on, that we're mindful of how much time we speak. That does not mean that your contribution is minimized. That does not mean that we don't want nor need your input. It just means that we have to be cognizant that there are other people. And when all of us are engaging, we need to make sure that as much time as possible is allotted to each other so we can all get our point in and across. That doesn't always give us space to build the greatest case in the world, but then that's a great thing for the show because that also allows us to do a part two. And when you're programming the show and when you're thinking about the next show and what you're going to do, it's very easy. Yo, let's just table that for now and we can carry that over to next week. And there you go. That is a beautiful situation. It really, really is, because now you don't have to scramble for guests. Now you don't have to scramble for questions. You already know the meat of what you're going to get into the next week or 2 weeks later, whatever, however it tends to flow, and you're good. You're golden. Now, with the Just Hilarious situation, that was a situation where someone sat in for her while she was out. And it seemed like that person was, from what I understand it, from what I was hearing, it seemed like that person overshadowed Just Hilarious. And the viewers were chiming in saying how much they were enjoying her versus Just Hilarious. And she felt like no one was standing up for her. As she being the main player on the team, she didn't feel the love from her teammates stepping in saying, whoa, 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 this young lady's just here for a moment. We ain't changed players. We still down with the team. And, she didn't feel that they did that for her. You know, um, the internet is a brutal thing. The internet is a cruel thing. We were talking about this on your show earlier, Brother Barry. It's very attractive and addictive on this internet thing. You know what I'm saying? And if you allow it to really come in and dictate your pace, your cadence, your movements, it will. It will. And that does not mean that what it's giving you is what you should be focused on or where you should be focusing, but it's giving you something. And unfortunately, a lot of folks, young and old, have turned to this thing as their major contributor of information, as their major distraction of time, as their major fill in the blank, whatever you want to consider it. Call it, I'm sorry. It doesn't have to be that way. There are plenty of books out there. There are plenty of people out there. Get to know somebody. Get to know yourself. Get to be comfortable with whoever you are, good, bad, or indifferent, because you are who you are. There can be some deviations to that. There could be some adjustments to that, but you still are who you are. And whomever is in your circle are going to have to deal with you for your good and bad, just like you're going to have to deal with them for their good and bad. I think folk get very comfortable in just being them and wanting things to go according to their plan, that they forget, especially in a team sport, that this is not an individual activity. It's a team activity. And as long as the team is winning, then you are winning. I don't know why some folks need that me constantly, but that is how some folks are built. And I understand that. So again, if that's how you're built and you're part of a team, then you need to be able to accept that you're not always going to get the me, just like the team has to be able to accept the fact that you may be irritated the fact that you're not always going to get the me, and or they're going to have to give you some time and space in order for you to get your me's. That's okay. That's okay. You know what I'm saying? But that is adulting. I was thinking about that just yesterday and how difficult adulting is. It's not pretty. It's not fun. But the longer we live, the more we move into adulthood, and we are adults if we live long enough, a heck of a lot longer than anything else that we are. So it's a learning curve because you do have to unlearn all the adolescent lessons that you picked up throughout the years. But hopefully, you pick them up at some point in your adulthood and run with it. Um, Outside of that, I don't have a lot to rant about this morning, to be honest with you, for the opening. Uh, you know, I think the best way to do this to give everybody time, Brother Barry, is to start with the NCAA tournament. If you don't know, it is March. And March transitions into April. I don't know why they call it March Madness and it ends in April. Well, I guess that's why. Because it you do all the matriculation until that work. Yeah. But it ends in April. And right now, if you are a sports fan, Duke University, then you are glued. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't get me started with running down the stats. Please don't get me started. Just accept the fact that you are forever in the presence of greatness whenever you play the University of Duke University. Whenever you go there and you step on the floor at Cameron Indoor Stadium, Coach K Court, I need you to look in the rafters and I need you to see those names. Then I need you to look on the other side, see the banners, and understand that you are in the presence of greatness. Right now, the women are playing in Cameron Indoor Stadium. I did not think they were going to allow them to play in Cameron because normally they don't. They try to put all the women's games. There's actually another gym at Duke that the women use. They don't use Coach K Court normally. Now, if it's a rival game between Duke and UNC, they will go to Coach K Court. But normally they use the other gym. So the women right now are playing at Cameron Indoor. And I'm watching this, and I'm tears coming down. The tears are pouring. They need to understand that they are in the presence of greatness, even though Coach Krzyzewski is not in the stands right now. I need them to understand that they are on hollow ground as far as basketball is concerned in this country. It is one of the premier venues for collegiate basketball in this nation, bar none. It is Duke University. Put some respect on that name. Understand there are 5, baby. There are 5 national championship banners up in those rafters. There are 2 that are back-to-back, 91 and 92. I need you all to understand that defense, simplistic coaching, fundamentals does win championships. I need you to understand the scrappiness from the greatest players in collegiate basketball, scrambling on the floor for the ball, trying to get another possession, trying to milk it. Another couple of seconds can lead to banners hung in the rafters. This is what I'm talking about when I speak about. Boy, don't you get me started with the most ACC championship titles in the conference history, with the most regular season championships in the conference, and the damn team didn't even really start to click until the late 80s, early 90s. Don't you get me started on Duke University. Goodness gracious, you got my blood boiling right now. But anyhow, shouts out to Alabama State University. Shocked the world. Alabama State University was in first 4 out, and they won. They proceeded to the second round of the tournament, where unfortunately they ran into a buzzsaw and they lost. However, that's an HBCU that did their thing. They showed up. They showed out. They showed that they deserved to be there. Congratulations to them. I know it was a short run, but it's worth bigging up them on that right now. And additionally, some short runs. Now, there's been some big names. There's been some blue chip organizations that are out of the tournament right now. Kansas has been eliminated. UNC has been eliminated. Louisville, Mizzo, Clemson, Memphis, and New Mexico have all been eliminated from the field of 64. Now, I don't know how UNC even got in the tournament, to be honest with you. They just were bumming it all year long. They got on a nice little run toward the end of the regular season. They did play us tough. They played us tough, though, without Cooper Flagg, our number one recruit. our top player without a doubt. And we grind that one out. We beat him, I think, by 4. I think it was like 71-75, some crap like that. There was a lane violation that happened, gave us an extra possession. Again, it's extra possession. Being scrappy. Extra possession that gave us the ability to seal that victory. And it was a hard-fought battle. It's never easy playing your arch rival. Never. And to play them 2-3 times a freaking year, almost every year, is even worse. You know what I'm saying? So my hat is tipped to them. But again, I don't think they deserve to be in the field of 64 this year. I think there was another team out there that deserved it much more. I would have liked to seen another HBCU get in the field because HBCUs were balling this year. They really showed up this year. They played very well against top-tier talent. They held their own. They did not always win, but they showed up. And in a tournament such as this, I think it would have been a great opportunity to see another HBCU in the field of 64. Maybe that'll happen, in the years coming soon. There was not only is the NIT this year, there's another freaking championship going on, another invitational going on this year. And I love it. I love it because these kids deserve those opportunities. These kids, if you're at a smaller school that doesn't get the television share all the time, now there's another tournament going on, which gives you an opportunity to at least have more visibility to another 20. Now that could potentially lead to you either making it in the NBA draft. You may get selected into the D League, which is not a bad thing. You shouted out Bronny the other day, bro. He was balling the other night. You know what I'm saying? He's coming into his stride. Don't know if he'll ever be a superstar, but he's coming into his stride. There's nothing wrong with having a legitimate long-term NBA career. There's nothing wrong with having a legitimate long-term NFL career. You may never win a Super Bowl. You may never go to the Pro Bowl. But if you can still contribute at a high clip, there's nothing wrong with that. You earn your money. You got to live out your dream. That's a win-win for everybody. What Brother Barry, what did Bronny do the other day? Because I saw you shouted him out the other day.
He shot 7 for 10.
Okay.
5 assists, a block, a couple of rebounds. I think they shorted him on rebounds. I think he had more than 2. Watching the game, I could have swore I seen him snag down at least 4 boards. But what I noticed was a couple things with Bronny. First, let's walk it back because Duke rhymes with puke. Let's start there. And let's not forget, they were the great white.
The band is no lie.
They were the great white hope of basketball in the 90s, and the refs loved Duke better than anyone else. Who could ever forget Chris Leitner stepping on the chest of the Kentucky player? And if he would have got thrown out of the game like he should have, which was very controversial at that time.
I agree.
But they wanted to wash the memory of the UNLV running Rebels out of the system.
I agree.
They let him stay in.
If hold on, stop right there. So you talked about UNLV. Yeah. Had Bobby Hurley not been sick, I think we would have beat him in 90.
That's called nervousness. That's called nervousness. And you guys beat them.
I'll take that.
Because people think that UNLV brought the same team back. They did not. They came back without their center. And people forget about Butler, who was their center, and how major of a piece he was to that team the first year. So that's why they lost. And then you had the betting scandal with Moses Scurry and, if I'm not mistaken, Anderson Hunt. So, they were caught inside of a hot tub with one of the Vegas famous, bookies. And so so that happened the second run. But I also, and not to mention the other win that they got was who else? Oh, that was the Fab Five. And what was they? Oh, another scandal. Okay. All right. So, but with that being said, I'm from Indiana.
Yes, sir.
We don't think nothing is premier about basketball outside of the Hoosier State. Period. And you can talk those banners, you can talk all of that stuff. But we wake up with basketball in our hand and we go to sleep with it in our hand. So we see Duke and I'll take our ladies team in Notre Dame against any of the bracket. I think we're
They
gonna
looking good
go,
this year.
man, look as good and fine as the coach. So
Yeah, yeah, they looking good
so
this year.
so we're gonna do that. And so but with that being said, um,
So, do you think they're going to take down Don Staley in South Carolina? Don got them girls clicking finally at the right time.
I mean they got a good team, but we got a good team too. I think we can beat them. I think we can beat them. We got shooters. And when you got shooters and you got abundance of shooters, you always got a chance.
Yeah, I agree
And
with
we
that.
play good defense too. And our coach ain't no joke too. She's just as good as Dawn. So we'll see. We'll
Okay.
see how we fare out there. But I love March Madness because of the idea that anybody could win. And I think people are saying that these are upsets. It's not upsets. What you are seeing is the difference between NIL teams and actual teams.
Say that again.
So the teams that we're seeing that's getting sent home early, they're not really teams. These guys are a bunch of free agents playing with each other. And I think that's what's really holding it back. Do they got talented players? Yeah. But these guys already got BMWs. These guys already got, Versace. These guys already got the PS5 and they even own the condo on the campus. Why are they going to try hard?
So you saying they living through that Kentucky mentality? That was my issue with Calipari. I'll be clear with that. I often said that Calipari was able to get great teams. No, that's not true. Great players.
Yeah.
The problem with his players were come late December, early January, they started playing for the NBA draft. They didn't start gelling together to play for one another for a push. They started looking at where their draft stock was, and they started focusing more on that. And if it was high, then they were more concerned with not getting hurt versus going out there and performing. Because you could dismiss a game off here, game off there when you're in front of an exec and a coach. Just like, yo, coach, I was waiting for you to draft me. I wasn't trying to get hurt. Yeah. I'm trying to come here to help you win championship. Yeah. I'm trying to come here to help you win a national conference banner. You know what I'm saying? And you saw it. You would see the difference in the Kentucky team from October, November, December, and then you get in January. And the later you got in January, the foot just came off that gas. You know what I mean? Because by that time they had already set their place to make the NCAA 20. So they were like, yo, we just gonna cruise through this. At least that's how it came across. We just gonna cruise through this. And once we get in, however far we go, we go. But I ain't gonna see y'all mofos in a couple months. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? If we win it, we win it. If we don't, that just gives me more time to sit home and chill and start getting together with my lawyer and start talking about these deals I'm gonna cut on the side for sponsorships. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it looked like to me. Straight up, that's what it looked like to me. Every freaking year, you could tell the difference in the Calipari team when it came to late January, early February. They started playing for the draft and or themselves. They stopped playing for that school. They stopped playing for one another. They just stopped. Now, you can say, well, they won. Yeah, they did win. How many times? I think he won once.
One time.
Once at Kentucky, right?
That was what Anthony did.
Look at all the players. This dude got in the freaking NBA while he was in Kentucky. Look at him. And again, if you go to some of that film and you look at those teams, you like, man, that should have been a national champion. They had all the pieces. They had the centers. They had the guards. They had the wings. They had everything you needed. Mm-hmm. They stopped playing for one another. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro.
Well, I mean, Coach Cal, in my opinion, his last great coaching job was in UMass, which was his first, because he maximized that talent with Travieso and Marcus Camby and Edgar. I forgot the other guy there, but either which way, that team, he maximized the talent. They only really was 4 good players, and they carried the rest. But he maximized it. He did the best that he could with the talent he had. And then after he got that name, he just became like a injury lawyer. you know? Uh,
Yeah.
he, he can sell you on the payout, but as far as the technicalities of the law or the technicalities of the team, that wasn't that thing. You couldn't
Right.
go there for that, and so it shows up. It shows up during the tournament play. With that being said, though, I think it's a good time a year when it comes to that. So I just wanted to touch on that piece about March Madness because as a basketball fan, I love it. I did want to say with the Breakfast Club, I think Jess is possibly dealing with postpartum.
Postpartum. Okay. Depression.
So I want to give her grace on that. And I also do believe that the other two were being disingenuous because she said something on there on her live that I thought was important. She said, when people talk about me online, I'm always having to battle this by myself. And they never speak up for me. And this is what Angela Yee was talking about.
Mm.
Gents, if you around a sister, and I think it's supposed to go both ways, but I see brothers doing this more or having to do it more. It's more of an onus that you do it. But you have to protect the name and the emotions
Of the
of
queen.
sisters who are around you. And it's important because, it's a vulnerability sometimes with close relationships. And that vulnerability for women, they are only friends or close with men that they feel like will protect them. And so if you're in that position, please listen to what she was saying. And if you are a viewer of the Breakfast Club and you got a similar set of friends, with sisters as friends, make sure that you're out there, you know, guarding your sister's name, and hopefully she'll do the same for you. I think it should be a mutual thing. I don't always see that. I don't always see it, but I think it should be mutual. But I felt her when she said that because Corey Holcomb is a man, and,
Mm.
and Jess shouldn't
And
be
I
doing.
asked.
But yeah, he was wrong.
He's asked.
Yeah, he was wrong, and I like Corey, but
So do
I
I.
felt
But he, I
but
mean, I'll call a spade a spade. He was asking that.
oh man, 100%. I mean, look, the woman just had a child. That's the first thing. The second thing is two black women who got a job. Why are you pitting them against each other? And last but not least, man, y'all had y'all beef. Let that go. When you know somebody you don't like, it used to be an old saying, if you ain't got nothing good to say, don't say nothing.
Say nothing at all.
Why say anything about that, sister? Let that go.
Right. Um. mm, Now I'll leave Corey out of it. I hope though. I will. I hope though that they are able to move on. Envy's comment. I don't. I, we're all brown skin, right? So I don't want to turn this into a brown skin, light skin thing. But
Please do.
Charlemagne clearly said, Envy got light skin energy. You know, like, it's different. Um, I think of everyone, Envy is most guarded of his brand, and I think for his brand, he will throw anybody under the bus. I don't know if he has um, a complex of failure or a fear of not making it, or I don't know if he has a limit to enough. Some people don't. Some people don't have enough limit. Some people believe that there's never enough. There's always more.
Mm.
That may be where he is. I don't know the cat personally. I don't know any of them personally. So I can't speak to how they move in that type of space.
Mm-hmm.
But um, for Charlemagne, I think because of the way he came up, remember, Charlemagne was a runner. You know what I'm saying? Charlemagne did all the dirt and grime. Let's not say remember. Let me be clear to some people because you may not know. So Charlemagne came and did all the grime and dirt in radio. All
Yeah.
of it. Street team, you name it, Charlemagne did it.
Mm-hmm.
He got uppity meaning he moved up, not his attitude. I'm saying he started moving up when he connected to Wendy Williams. When him
Right.
and Wendy did the show on Hot 97, that's when Charlemagne started getting his name out there. And it became more and more, because she really leaned on him. Like, she pulled him in constantly into conversations in studio, live, when she was doing the show.
Yeah.
So obviously his name started getting out there, circulating, blah, blah, blah. So then he decides, in some form or fashion, that he wants to be a bad guy ish in radio. Not I'm gonna stick you up or nothing like that, but I'm gonna be in your face and ask you hard questions. I guess maybe he took cues from her and wanted to go the similar route. Well, again, this dude started Street Team, so you don't really have that credibility, So in a lot of ways, he was riding her coattails. He spins out, gets his own thing, starts his own lane, carves it out. This is the cat that you see now. Very proud of him. I have a similar story.
Facts.
I started Street Team for real. That's how I started in Radio One, and I moved from that because of the fact that I was on AM versus FM. I had the ability to do a lot of things. Some of those things included sales. Some of those things included producing the show, and it ultimately led to me being able to get behind the mic on more than one occasion. So I understand his grind, and I'm very proud that he was able to do that. Reinvent himself, reinvent himself again, and now we get who we are. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know how much longer he may hold on to the donkey of the week thing, to be honest with you. Because to be honest, it doesn't fit his brand anymore, to be real. He's gone beyond that. He's not that adolescent type dude like he used to be. And if you notice in that, he's calmed it down a whole lot. Because when he started, he was over the top with it. Now he's more thoughtful in his assessment of people. Now he's more thoughtful on who he chooses and why he chooses them. And he speaks to them from my perspective, from a more loving and caring place than I'm just going to embarrass the hell out of you on radio right now. I'm going to make everybody laugh at you. But again,
I don't know. I have a problem when I see two heterosexual black men who constantly sophomorically play the gay role. And I really do, especially when I know that that's a racist trope against black men in this country.
Where are you seeing that at? You lost me a little bit. Where are you seeing that at?
Envy does that every show.
Oh, I got you.
I've yet to tune in to where they're not talking to each other as if they're both homosexual, making those jokes. So I think the sophomoric piece is still there. And to the point about Envy, I think what Envy got upset with Jess about, and I think, this is the thing about sometimes when I say don't go both ways, Envy last year was involved in that real estate scandal. Nobody spoke up in protection for Envy when people were slandering his name. So Envy probably heard that part about Jess when she said, oh, just like Angela Yee. And in his head probably said, well, hey, when I was going through what I went through, I had to fight it alone. They're dragging my name, my wife's name, my reputation. I had to stand on 10 toes, and you guys weren't talking to the people that were saying things about me. That was my fight. And so I think that could be one of those things with him where he had an attitude because he just personally went through that on a larger scale, right?
Right.
And when they were talking about it inside of the show, Jess and Charlemagne both was joking about it. So you just never know. I know people laugh at your jokes,
right?
But you know how that makes people feel. And I just think, when you team, you should always speak up highly on your people and just protect each other. But I feel like it might be a pinch of, you ain't speak up for me. So good luck with that.
Right, a little payback.
Yeah, I mean, because It happens that way. I mean, Envy's been through several scandals, even with Angela Yee. When it was the cheating thing with the other reality TV show chick and his wife and the whole nine, him and his wife had to fight that battle. The Breakfast Club wasn't a saving grace for him. Angela Yee joked on him. Charlamagne joked on him. And so I think sometimes what we have to learn is even in work environments, you gotta be able to run the code of if it's your team and this is how we making money, I'm protecting my assets. You can't knock Lee. You can't knock Lee with you. We ain't got no business together. Why I'm gonna let you knock Lee? Me and Lee got business going on. Why I'm gonna let you like? And then when you spend time, then it's like, oh, this is my brother, this is my sister. Well, I'm gonna let you knock Rashi. Like, you can't come on the show and just diss Rashi and I'm gonna be cool with it. Or after you leave, go diss Rashi and I'm gonna no. You gotta. There's a level of, in my opinion, camaraderie that's missing with the show. And I think just like what you talked about with Cal, I think, what you start seeing in these conflicts, it's like that February, March of those Coach Cal teams.
They start playing for themselves.
Oh, everybody start playing for themselves.
I like Angela Yee, you know what I'm saying? So, I think she started looking at like, I'm going to start playing this for myself. I know the money's coming through. I'm on one of the hottest shows that iHeart has. I think they're stifling me, or I can spring out and keep all the dough for myself because I am on one of the hottest shows they have. She's not a bad looking woman. That's never a bad thing. That's not a sexist thing, ladies. That's the truth. You know what I mean? Sex sells, however it comes.
Yeah.
Be it just your physical appearance or be it you scantily clad. Sex sells. It is what it is. And for men, the same thing. I mean, how many people would go see a movie? How many women would go see a movie if Denzel wasn't in it?
So let me ask you this though.
Wasn't in it. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
With her was similar because let me ask you, Angela left because of Gucci Mane, because he said that he slept with her and he didn't, and the way he was talking about her, and when he came up to the show, she wasn't there. They didn't speak up for her.
Ain't nobody checked her. Nobody checked her.
Nobody said 5 words, right? And so she left because she didn't feel protected. And if you look on her new show, she got Mano. It's important to notice why she got Mano. She got Mano up there because if a situation takes place like what happened with Gucci Mane, Mano is going to say something. Mano, if he got to, will do something. Angela Yee came up working with Wu-Tang.
Right.
Wu-Tang ain't about to let you disrespect no Angela Yee.
Yeah.
You can't get that with Raekwon and Ghostface and Meth and RZA. They're not ODB. They're not about to let you get away with that. Capadonna, You God, who's my favorite. And people are like, why you like You God? Because You God's my favorite. He can't really rap, but I like him.
You said Dept. I've been like, I feel.
Well, I mess with Inspector Deck. You know what I'm saying? He was a part of the Four Horsemen, so I mess with him. But I'm just saying, Meth is, to me, I think Meth is the best out of all of them. But
really,
I like Method Man. I think I like Meth's flow. I think I like his punchlines. I think Raekwon I think Ghostface is the better storyteller. I think Raekwon got the slicker delivery. I think I go down to the list because my brother Travis Smith is, he's a Wu-Tang fan. I'm a Dog Pound fan. He's a Wu-Tang fan. So we go through this because I'd be like, DPG is more than Daz and Corrupt. But either which way, I'm saying women love to be around men who are going to protect them. And I think that's a conversation that kind of flew over the head because when Corey is saying what he's saying about her and she said what she's saying, and then Envy's kind of this posturing, what I'm hearing from everyone is, I'm around you and I work with you. Now, you treat this like a job. Right.
Man, I got you.
Or you don't fool with me because if you did, why am I out here having to say it?
Oh, hold on. So you gonna let me say the F word, but you gonna switch it up? Okay, that's cool.
I cussed enough this morning. I was like, God dang, I'm not cussing like crazy. But no. But that's how it is, and I feel like watching that made me think on just like on a political level, right? What people are saying now, folks are saying, hey, to the Democrats, y'all ain't got our back. Right. You asking for my vote. I'm your constituent. Get your ass out there and fight. Right? Justin said, hey, I'm on this show. I'm supposed to be the third wheel. Why is this storyline going between me and Lauren? Who, by the way, I like them both. I like them both. I feel like but no, there's no but. I like them both. I think they give balance to the show. Lauren does what she does well. Jess is sassy. I like the energy. What I would say is that we have to sometimes stop pitting each other against one another. If they got the capital to pay for them both, we'll put 4. Who said you got to have 3?
I agree. That was the origin of our show. It was 2 women, 2 men. And I thought that it would work better that way. So you did have that balance, that very well thought out balance. But yeah, I feel that. You said you love Jess's energy.
Yeah, I like it.
One of my boys hit me up. He's like, yo, I gotta tell you something, son. I was like, what's up? He said, man, I got a guilty pleasure. I was like, what's that? He said, man, them Baltimore girls, son, with that accent, that shit is love. I love it. For real? He's like, man, I love it. I ain't gonna bluff, son. I love it, son. It's something different. This is something different. I'm the same with Louisiana. You put a chick in front of me from New Orleans, like I'm captivated. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna steer you wrong. I am 100% locked in. I am hooked on her every freaking word because I can't wait for the baby to come.
Yeah.
And sugar, baby. Oh my God, boy, melt like parquet on some hot corn. Every time. You know, so I dig it. You know, to your point earlier, to the point that we've been driving for a while, you know, the unity piece in our community is necessary, even more so now than ever, especially putting up with these next three and a half years, you know, of this administration. We needed not only to survive, we needed to thrive. We needed it to thrive before now when we were just surviving. Now we need it for both. Yeah, this is not the time for all of our dirty laundry to be aired in public. I was thinking about that the other day. It's like, you know something we need to bring back. Let's bring back when folks weren't walking around with their phones on speaker and you can hear the entire conversation. Let's bring that back.
Man, ain't that so childish though?
Childish as hell.
When you see that, it's like, mother.
Right. I do not want, nor do I need to hear your whole damn conversation. Like, and then you're upset if someone comments on something that they heard. It's like, you need to mind your business. Well, you made it everybody's business, son. Everybody. When you have your phone on speaker and you're walking around and you're yelling. You're not having a muted conversation like, yeah, you know, no, because like, and the other person is yelling. So now everybody knows your business. Mm-hmm. Whatever you're talking about. It doesn't have to be negative, but everybody knows whatever the hell you're talking about. So don't be mad if someone were to comment on something that you put in public space. It's similar to, well, never mind. I'm not going down that road this morning. I said I wasn't. I won't. I stopped myself. I was about to go somewhere. I decided to stay on the highway. I'm not going to take that exit. I am okay with it. But yeah, dog. Like, no, let's bring those things back. To my point to you on your show this morning, let's just bring back the simplistic thing of saying hello to one another. that simple thing. And if you say I don't see it from other people, um, two things. First off, you may not see it from the majority class or the majority state in the nation right now because they don't need it. Right now, they're still in power, and because of such, they don't need to do something like that. But if you see um, most folks that are immigrants, they do speak to one another. And or when they see one another and they know, if they don't want to know one another, they usually do speak in some form or fashion. If they do know one another, which a lot of them tend to do, they are extremely happy to see one another. When was the last time you were around a group of folks looking like us that were extremely happy to see one another, genuinely happy to see one another, that
Man,
knew one another?
oof,
You know what I'm
man,
saying? Now,
man, man.
it is different. We do communicate differently. Men communicate differently than women. I was looking at something the other day about that. Sociologist was saying, if men like one another, even if they don't know one another, if they a sign of respect for men is talking shit about one another.
Yeah,
We'll walk up to another dude, hey, you fat bastard, what's going on? And if a guy responds with another insult, we're good. That's how men communicate. That really is how men communicate.
yeah,
Women don't communicate that way. They do not. I can't imagine a woman walking up to another woman and saying, hey, you fat chick, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 boom, and just laughing it off and connecting and going on from there. So yeah, no, there's work we need to do, but it starts with the simple things. Again, it starts with the hello. It
yeah,
starts with the just the what's up, the head shake, something. It
yeah,
starts with that. It starts with building trust amongst one another. And you can't. I said this earlier on your show, bro. You can't build trust with people that you don't know. You don't build trust with people like that, and you don't. I've never met a stranger. I've never met a stranger. That maybe that's how I'm wired, but there's not a lot of people that I run across that I don't speak to. So again, I just left Kansas. Rashi was putting in my ear about the Gates family. If you're not familiar, Gates Barbecue is huge in Kansas City, Missouri. So she's putting in my ear the history of the Gates family and what they're doing, so on and so forth. Yesterday, lunchtime, we were myself, my workmates were going to lunch. So, yo, where we going? Well, we're going one place. We're going to Gates. Before we leave, I want to introduce you all to this, so you're good, because we were doing our training in Lawrence, Kansas. So I'm like, I want to make sure you all are good. You don't leave with a poor taste in your mouth about our experience out here, our time out here, so on and so forth. All right, cool. So we go. I'm noticing the room. The matriarch, no, patriarch of the Gates family is in the restaurant. So I'm watching. I don't know this dude. I've never seen him. So I peel off, and you know me, I start a conversation with the brother. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, look, I'm here from Atlanta. I'm from one of my co-hosts lives out here. She has constantly talked up you and your family. I am very appreciative for what you and your family are doing in the city of Kansas City. I hope that you continue the push. Ba 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 ba. He comes in, he starts telling me plans and the fact that he's the third generation. He already has his son and his grandson involved in the business. They're anxious to take it over whenever he decides to sit down. He's not an old dude, not at
right,
all. This brother's still moving very well.
right,
He still had all controls of his faculties. He's like, but yeah, they already waiting in the wings. Whenever I decided, I don't want to do this no more. But I'm not there yet. I'm still enjoying it. It gives me something to do. We're concerned with the quality of your experience. So As long as you're having a good time, I'm having a great time. I'm like, damn, that's what's up. So we exchanged a couple more words. I'm gonna put a bug in Rashi's ear, try to get to this cat again. Hopefully, we can get him on the show because what they're doing is what he and his family are doing is phenomenal, dog. You know what I mean? They took what they had and they've made a whole lot of out of it, a whole lot. And they're constantly looking toward doing more. He revealed some things to me. I'm not going to talk about that because that ain't my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what has been publicized yet. So, because I don't live out there. So I'm going to leave that alone. But yeah, I was like, bet. That's what's up. You know what I mean? But that's what this thing is about. This thing is about building and leaving a legacy, and his family is definitely doing it in Missouri, in Kansas City specifically. They are definitely doing it. You know, I didn't even know they had a location in Vegas, and my hostess, she was like, "Yeah, we had a location in Vegas. We closed it down not too long after the pandemic." Understandable, you know what I'm saying? Understandable. But she said it was out there for years. It was out there from like I think she said it was like 20 years, something like that. It was out there for a while. I didn't pick up on it. Yeah, I ain't pick up on it. You know what I mean? But anyhow, the trust thing, we have to be able to get together, work together. We don't always have to agree. We don't.
Yeah, that's true.
We will not always agree. We have different experiences. We are different people, and that's okay. What's not okay is coming to the internet and putting those disagreements on Front Street for everybody to see all the time. If we have grievances, let's work those grievances out amongst one another and then step out the unified front that we should be, that we could be, that we will be, and get what we need. I'm sorry. You had something?
Oh no, man! You heard me say my sermon this morning, man. It's been rough locally. It's been real bad.
So let's pivot to that a couple of minutes before Rashi comes on. She'll be on soon. I noticed you said, and you've said this more than once, there are a lot of 503Cs, right? In Minnesota.
Yeah.
How have they been impacted? Have they been impacted yet by all this foolishness that's going on in DC?
I don't think that it's hit them totally yet because we have a lot of foundations who do a lot of philanthropy. And, you already have the city of Minneapolis and the state who fund a lot of the 501c3s. But that pain is coming because Minnesota does a lot of reimbursement work with the federal government. And that's why they attract so many impoverished people. The pain is coming. It's going to be redistributed. And, I still see people partying and doing galas and the whole nine, like this dude Trump ain't talking about cutting off water. And they still planning. I'm like, okay, so we know we on the Titanic. We know we the iceberg Trump, but y'all still partying. Y'all still dancing. And you don't hear that water rushing. You don't feel that water on your feet. You better get to a lifeboat. You better get to a lifeboat because I'm not here to warn you. I'm gone. Right? I'm gone. I'm going to be on my lifeboat. There's only so much conversation you can give. So we have a lot. And embarrassingly, Brother Lee, we don't have Black establishments who can boast of hiring 10 or more people that's for profit. You can't name more than 5. You can't name more than 5. And if I said name those 5 and they're not getting money from the state, the city, or the foundations, you're going to be hard pressed. And so we are in a quagmire because we're so dependent on white dollars, not necessarily because that's the business transaction. It's even for seeding of the business that we do. So now when you have a federal government that's saying that they're not going to put money towards diversity, equity, inclusion. They don't believe in civil rights or affirmative action. Now you look around and you say, well, why are we playing the same song and dance? Don't you see what's happening around the rest of the country? And other groups are doing well. They're doing well within this scope. And I just I had to say something about it, but you're right. We have to come together. We have to develop a level of expectation and code amongst each other. Black people should be speaking to each other regardless. You definitely better speak to your elders, and you
Mm,
certainly should be speaking to youth, letting them know that,
mm.
young brother, hey, young sister, when you see me, you know you safe. Uh, hey, elder, you when you see me, you know you safe. What you need. Um, there's just a level of respect and honorability. I think is dignity that you carry yourself with when you operate from that fashion.
But isn't it difficult to identify the elders when the elders don't want to call themselves elders? I mean, isn't it difficult to? I'm being 100. I'm keeping it real,
Well,
son.
I'll talk about the elders who are actually showing that they're elders. Like,
Oh, okay.
I mean, and the reason how you know is because they're gonna greet you. They grew up
Hmm.
at a time where they're gonna greet you anyway because that's their thing. And most of them are still they remember their times living in the South. They remember the times they had to go back to visit relatives in the South. So they are still operating from that ethos. It's the city slickers. It's
Mm.
it's when you go to these urban cities. You're not getting no southern hospitality in Atlanta. You got to go outside of Atlanta, outside of the city to
Say
get
that again.
southern hospitality, right?
Look, go ahead. Finish what you're saying. I got something to say to that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done with that. That's my point.
Man, look, brother. Brother hit me yesterday and says, "Hey, the project you got me on, I'm almost done." I said, "Great." You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you keep me updated on that, man. I'm trying to do more, if allowed to. And he says, "Bro, let me hip you to something, man. If nobody's told you, Atlanta's the place where all the scammers come. People will step up and talk a great game and tell you they can do this, tell you they can do that. But man, be careful." I'm like, first off, son, I'm from Harlem. I grew up in Baltimore. I already know a sidestepping person 9 times out of 10 when I see him. You,
Right,
you ain't gonna be able to put it over on me, but for too daggone long.
right,
Because first and foremost, I'm gonna make sure that you show me proof ahead of time. Secondly, I'm gonna pay you with a credit card so those funds can be snatched back if need be. You know what I'm saying? Like we ain't playing that game, not
right.
at all. But he was like, "Okay, well, hey, I just wanted to make sure you were good." I said, "Man, I'm cool, but I appreciate you chiming in because it could have been ugly, and we don't need it to go like such." But yeah, um, you're right. Older folks, the true elders do normally operate out of that space where they will speak to you, and I make sure I speak to them almost always. I always try to give them a uplifting word. I tend to greet older men and or older women as young man or young lady. What I'm saying, and I will ask them, do you need any help? You need me to carry anything for you? Blah 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 blah. No, I'm okay. Okay. Well, hey, I just want to make sure you were all right. Be safe. It was a pleasure meeting you, and I'll move on.
Mhm.
But those simple things, look, we were all raised differently, right? So this
Mhm.
whole common sense thing, I champion the fact that I'm not a champion of it because we were all raised differently through different experiences. So I don't agree with that. I do agree though with being courteous. And there
Yeah,
are common courtesies regardless of what you have experienced in life.
yeah.
And
Regardless of
so,
race,
right.
regardless of race.
And one of those is when you see someone that has come to the tip of their race and about to go down that hill, you respect them for running that race for as long as they have. And hopefully you are in a good enough place in your life where you're saying to yourself that I hope I make it to that point in my life, because you're usually looking at some longevity there, and most of us want to live as long as we can. As long as I'm healthy and I'm able to provide for myself in some form or fashion, or you help myself out in some form or fashion, meaning I'm not a burden to whomever would be looking after me constantly, then I'm good. I get to that point where it's like, I can't really take care of myself in any way, shape, or form. I would feel like I'm more of a burden than anything, and I'm okay if that's my transition time. I think about my grandfather, the last grandfather that I lost, which was my last grandfather, and he was at that point. He was in South Carolina by himself for quite some time. I would go down and visit him periodically, without a doubt, just pop in, make sure he's okay and stuff. But it got to a point where my uncles were like, "Yo, we got to get that. I got to bring him back." I was like, "That's cool." So they did, and he came up and went to see him and stuff. And he said, "Son, I need to talk to you." And I said, "Okay." Cleared the room. He says, "Look, man, I'm 76 years old. I've lived a good life. If this is my time, don't you let them boys keep me here longer than I need to be here." I was like, "Whoa." He's like, "Man, don't you let them boys keep me here longer than I need to be here. I'm okay. If this is my time, I'm okay." You know what I'm saying? I said, "Okay." I walked downstairs, and they were like, "Yo, what he say?" You already know what he told me. You know what I'm saying? He gave me the word, dog. Like, I mean, I know that's your father, but he just gave me the word. So y'all already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And he stayed with us for a while. He did. He stayed with us for a while. And everything was good. He had a bout with cancer. He beat that. He fended that off. He came back and he walked. They told him he came back and asked him what he wanted to do, and he was like, nothing. And they were like, "Yeah, but no, nothing. I'm good." Call my grandson. Called me. Said, talk to him. He said, "I'm good." Said, "Okay." Hung up the phone. Called my uncles. Pop ready to go. It's like, pick him up. Like, nope, he ready to go. You know what I'm saying? It's like, seriously, like, yep. I'm telling you now, it's a done deal. He is okay. He's ready to ride on. When he rides, be ready for it. You know what I'm saying? Talk to him now, spend time with him now, because he has made his mind up. He's okay. And he transitioned a couple months later. And I didn't cry a tear. I did not cry a tear. I was not sad. I was not, I miss my grandfather,
Right.
but I wasn't burdened by his death. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like, oh my God, there was so much that we didn't get to do. I wasn't in that space because I understood the man. I got to know the man. I spent time with the man. I
Right.
spent time with my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? I understood he loved me. He knew I loved him. And those were the most important things. You know what I mean? Time is something you never get back. So, yeah, man. When you see that elder, respect that elder because they have run their race. And some folks, man, that was a tough, tough climb for them to make it for you to be able to see him. You know what I'm saying? Man, my grandfather was born in um, Eddytown, South Carolina. Yeah, you ain't never heard of this shit, and it's okay.
South Carolina.
Eddytown, South Carolina. Yeah, it's a part of Pineville, South Carolina, which again most people never heard of either, and that's okay. But it's very small. I won't say it's rural like that, but it's rural.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, but yeah. Like the road to the property was still just dirt. It was never cemented, anything like that. Hell, they put the tar leading up to the house down. I want to say late 70s, early 80s. That's when they finally put the the real road as we know it down in front of dog. Like for real. Like it was it was like that mug. So we had not we had because the property's still there and we still have it. there's a light pole that was in the middle of a couple of trailers.
Mhm.
And yeah. But that was the only thing that kept it from being pitch black dark out that mofo. You know what I'm saying? Like if you go toward the end of the property near the road,
Yeah.
nights, yeah, it was pitch black out that month. I was like, yo,
Yeah.
like, I'm a city dude, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all live like this? Like, who live like this? You know what I mean? Like,
That country living is different, brother.
man, that was some good living. That was a good living. But I don't want to get stuck there because we got some actual news and conversations and things that we need to talk about. Let's continue with you because I want to breathe into the story from Florida as well. I thought Rashi was going to be on by now. She may come on a little later. We'll leave space for her whenever she shows up, and that's fine. But so let me start in Florida first, then we'll connect it to the situation up there in Minnesota, okay? So Ed James, 63 years old, was executed in the state of Florida on Thursday, the 20th. He died by lethal injection. He was executed for the murders of Elizabeth, this is actually her name, Dick, and her 8-year-old granddaughter, Tony. I don't want to butcher the young lady's name. I want to say Neuner because it's Neuner. So Neuner, who he also raped. Ooh. The grandmother was 58. Yeah, the grandmother was 58. The little girl was 8. This gentleman pleaded his case for clemency, and he wanted his sentence converted from a death sentence to a life sentence. And the state of Florida wasn't hearing none of that. So he was summarily executed on Thursday. I don't get what you see in an 8-year-old girl. Mm-hmm. This man was obviously extremely sick. Mm-hmm. And because of such, he lost his life. Mm-hmm. I will not excuse his raping of an 8-year-old girl by allowing. I will not allow his sickness. I'm sorry to excuse the rape and death of an 8-year-old girl. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. You know, so I'm not saying he got what he deserved, but the state of Florida felt, and a jury of his peers felt that that was the right sentence for him, and because of such, he was therefore executed. Same day. In other news, in Minnesota, so your state senator, Justin, how do you pronounce his last name? Eichhorn?
Eichhorn.
Thank you. Yep. During a underage prostitution sting. Why is that string? Sting. Now you reported something that I didn't see. You know, I just read about it, so it's different when you have the local news versus you reading news articles and stuff like that. You said that the undercover officer identified herself as being 17.
Yeah, he knew it was a minor,
and this fool still was like, "That's cool." What is the age of consent in Minnesota? That's a very good question. I didn't think about that until now.
So if a child is 16 and the parent gives you permission, it's okay.
You can marry them.
Marry or have sex.
Or have sex with them. Gotcha.
But 18 is the legal age of consent without permission.
Gotcha. So again, this is a MAGA Republican state senator.
So I want to read something to you.
Okay.
Because that's not the part. This is the part. Let me find this.
Give me the. See, because all I got was after that was he was released to a halfway house until a bed became available, I guess, in the local jail or whatever. He's prohibited from being in contact with unaccompanied minors, and he has restrictions on him about leaving the state. So that's all I had to the end of that. But yeah, give me the tea because I'm
So
real curious.
So he introduced a new bill called Trump derangement syndrome.
Why my head hurt already? I'm listening. My head hurt already.
He was one of the authors of the bill, and the bill states, hold on, it says, hold on, I'm trying to. It is a mental illness that means Trump derangement or any of the conditions included in the most recent edition of diagnosis. Let's see what it means. The acute onset of a paranoia in otherwise normal person that is in reaction to the policies and presidencies of President Donald J. Trump. Symptoms may include Trump-induced general hysteria, which produces an inability to distinguish between legitimate policy differences and signs of psychic pathology in President Donald J. Trump behavior. This may be expressed by verbal expression of intense hostility towards Donald J. Trump and against anyone supporting Donald J. Trump or anything that symbolizes Donald J. Trump. He just introduced that into the House or to the Senate this week, right before he went and, solicited sex from a minor. So if you want to know why you didn't get that Epstein update, you know what they down with.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I don't even know where to chop that. Besides to say, these cats are not, they crazy, but they ain't stupid. They are always looking to cover their tracks so that they cannot be prosecuted nor persecuted for things that we have held to high esteem and regard forever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to somebody last night because I did get in and I went to the studio last night. So I'm talking about this thing since we want to hit Trump right now. I said, have you noticed first campaign, second campaign, first presidency, second presidency, no one has had an opportunity to interview the black girl that Trump was dating.
Mm.
She has not given an exclusive interview to anybody. Notice how often she doesn't come up. With all this white supremacy talk, they were supposedly dating 2 years. 2 years. Nothing comes up about her. Nothing. Can you imagine how much money is being given to her and her people for keeping their mouth shut about her time with him? Just think about it. Think about it. She hasn't been on 2020. She hasn't been on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
She hasn't been on nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. Again, I can't even remember the sister's name right now. I'm gonna pull it up, but I can't remember the sister's name right now. But that's how well they have buried her. You don't see images of her. The campaign didn't swipe at him with pictures of her, with mentions of her. None of the super PACs went after him with her. Think about that. In what fight do you not use every available resource that you have? But nobody has fired at him with her. Take out the Democrats, the Republicans. During, again, the debates, nothing. Nobody said anything. And again, okay, maybe the second time they were a little, because his people might turn against me, I might not win. But that first time, nobody. Silence. Silence. How does that work? How does that happen? How do you, what does Hmm. How well, again, are her and her people being taken care of? Because it's some cousin,
Hmm.
brother, sister that's like, shit, I'm trying to get paid. If I leak this to the National Enquirer, okay, but they in Trump's hip pocket. That's cool. But if I go to ABC, CBS, NBC, somebody gonna pay me. Why ain't the book out? My Time with Donald Trump,
Hmm.
the memoir of his black lover.
Hmm.
I just pulled that title out my ass. You know what I'm saying? Like that joint, New York Times bestseller, flying off the shelf. How did that not happen?
I gotta look her up, man. Let me look.
Yeah. I did it last night. I did it last night. Because again, we were having a conversation, and I was like, "Yo, this cat got these jokers wrapped around his finger so hard." But think about it. The sister, you ain't seen her.
Her name is
The paparazzi.
Her name is Cara Young.
There you go. Yeah, the paparazzi ain't found her. TMC ain't blasted an interview out about her. TMC hasn't blasted pictures out about this girl. Was she dead? She don't go outside no more?
She's an actress.
And again, what movie she been in lately? What Denzel say? You can't be an actor if you ain't acting. So you an actress, and what movie you been in lately? What play you been in lately?
Oh, she's from Belize.
Are you doing a one-person show? You mean one of those shithole countries he talked about?
Yeah.
I'm asking questions. This is what I do. I'm trying to keep it clear and plain. How that work? Talk to me. Make it make sense. Because it ain't adding up. It's not adding up. It's not adding up in the same form of fashion. Things aren't adding up for Elon. So Tesla is tanking. Tesla stock price is down 42% this year versus last year. Sales year over year are down by 11%. March marked the highest ever share of Tesla trade-ins, according to Edmunds. I'm sorry. Vandals have targeted the stores, the vehicles, and the charging stations. People are pissed at Elon in so many ways. I don't think I ever wanted to own a Tesla. I want to own an electric
car. Yeah,
but it wasn't going to. I was looking actually at the Polestar. I like Polestar, and I'm just looking for them to do a little something different with the body, come down on that price a little bit, and then I'll then I'll hop on board. I may have one more car left in me, and if I do that, it will be in another 3 years. I want to bang it before I turn 55, so I'll pay it off before I'm 60 and retired. And at that point, I'll really look at getting my all electric, and 9 times out of 10, if I don't see anything else come down the line, it will be the Polestar. I like the fact that they team with Volvo. I'm a Volvo lover, always have been. Volvo was my dream car. I actually own one. I owned a 850, white, 4-door, sunroof, leather interior, you name it, I had it in that monster. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that was definitely my dream car. When you sat on the porch, it's like, that's my car. It was always a Volvo. I don't know why, but it just appealed to me. It appealed to me more than BMW. It appealed to me more than Mercedes, more than Audi. I just love that Volvo piece.
Yeah, I was a fan of the Volvo too.
Okay.
Big fan.
Okay. Yeah. And look, man, I really lost it because when I was in the UK, they had a program with AFES, Armed Forces Exchange Services, where you could go to the factory and tell them how you wanted it made. They would make it for you, ship it to you. You got a huge break on the shipping and the taxes, and that's how that was set up. So when I was in the UK, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go over that mug. I want my joint black on black on black. Literally, I was like, yo, I want that. I want to walk in the damn room and not even be able to see it till you turn the lights on. I want that mug super black. Because I've never driven time, but that's what I wanted.
Right.
And then one of my boys, he had a 25th anniversary edition. We called that mug a deuce and a quarter because that mug was big, clunky. That joker was 100% metal. You feel me? Like if I hit something with that, whatever it was, sorry for your luck. I was gonna tear you up.
Right.
That mug had no power steering, dog. I remember, again, I had no driver's license, but I'm still driving. I remember driving that mug on the steering like this. You know what I mean? That was a totally different experience, but man, I was grinning ear to ear driving that mug. Right. He was like, "Yo, go to the store." Blah, 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 blah. He threw me the keys. I was like, he was like, "Yeah, man, go to the store. Drive to the store. Get blah blah blah." I was like, "Bet." Yeah, man, I lost mine. Continuing on, Elon though, the Cybertruck had a recall. So come to find out, the trim was just glued on. They just glued the shit up on it. Just put it on there. Just get it off the line. Next. Well, it could fly off, not only cause injury to that car, but other cars and potentially people. So there's a huge recall for the Cybertruck. Now, to me, Brother Barry, that damn thing's just like a garbage can to me, man. A garbage can on wheels.
Yeah.
With the color and shape, I don't. And then it's over $100,000 for it. Like, I don't see the appeal. The only good thing, it's a pure electric. Seriously, I could not imagine gassing that joker up. Like, are you serious right now? That mug is probably going to be $150 to gas that mug up. You know what I'm saying? So, did you ever find anything to like about the Cybertruck? Did you want to own a Tesla? Is that a car on your list? Or was it a car on your list, I should say?
No. Tesla. So I used to watch this cartoon called Jace and the Wheel Warriors.
Never heard of that one. But
I used to draw the Jace vehicles. And Tesla always looks like cars from Jace and the Wheel Warriors.
Okay.
It's the same writers who created Thundercats and things of that nature. This was in the 80s, mid 80s. But with that being said, no, I never won a Tesla. It looks like, trash. But the more I look into his background and I look at, other stuff, I'm like, man, this is crazy, because when I look at it, I'm just being honest to the viewers out there. It looks like the same vehicles that Hitler was trying to make. And if you look at the Tesla car, and then you think about the Bug, it's a modern day version of the Bug. And so I'm just watching and I'm thinking about it as we get to talking about Elon and some of his political thoughts and the alignment with Trump and how, the Bug was supposed to be this supremely fast car too. People forget that. It was actually supposed to be a German sports car. Or the kick was, yeah. If you ever watch, what's it, Around the World?
In 80 days.
In 80 days. You don't remember them having the little bug in it too?
Yeah.
Car, it's supposed to be a sports car. It's supposed to be a fast car. So we kind of, does it compare to an American muscle car? No. What? You don't think a Tesla is fast, but I've been in one in an Uber and they got that thing where it can go from 0 to 60. Have you ever seen the impact of that?
Yeah, I've actually been in one, and the dude, Uber dude, did it. I was like, God damn, that's a lot of pickup.
I mean, it's like a jet takeoff, right? Because your back is to the
Yeah.
back, right? And so when you sit back and you think about that, you say, well, dang. And it has all this technology. But knowing it's a reflection piece on the Nazi uh, car per se. And even the last vehicle that Hitler was trying to put out right before they took him out was similar to this vehicle with the bumpers falling off. Elon Musk is an interesting cat. He's an interesting cat, and I never wanted a Tesla, but teach his own. I just feel like if you don't know history, you're gonna repeat it. And my only catch with him, and the reason why I did not want a Tesla, was because of Nikola Tesla. And I know that everything that Elon Musk stands for, Nikola Tesla despised. And so I wouldn't want to own a car in the name of a man who would not support that car, how much the car costs, the owner of the company, and his political views. I think it's almost it's almost being like, you're a devil worshiper with but you got a Jesus Christ hat on. Right. So I can't rock with Tesla because Nikola Tesla, he
you
was
black with a MAGA hat on.
Oh, you black with a MAGA hat named Kanye West. But anyway, I get what you're saying. Definitely get it. Definitely get it, man. Oh, can we talk a little bit more about him and begging his employees?
Absolutely.
So let me expound on that. Him begging his employees to keep their shares. And I saw last night on the news that since the beginning of the year, they have found that the execs in his company have sold over 78,000 shares, and no one has bought a one.
Selling off.
And he went to go plead with them to keep the shares. Well, sir, this is what it's like. People are dumb, but they ain't that type of dumb. When they know that they can impact you at your pocketbook, folks will do that. And you brought that on yourself. So I don't care how bad you feel. I don't give no fucks about what you're going through. I hope you lose your company, buddy. And I want to keep in mind the same government that you are doing such a good job of trying to tear apart. When you lose your company, think about the Social Security checks that went late to some of these elders who put their time in, who couldn't afford a silver spoon or wasn't born into a silver spoon like you.
Say that again.
When they kick your ass out your company, think about those people who may be evicted or not be able to pay for medicine or get their utilities turned off, all because of your antics.
Let's think about something else.
Okay.
The dismantling of the Department of Education.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So we've been talking about it for a while. We knew it was coming. I don't know why he pushed it back as long as he did, but he did. So on Thursday, he signed an executive order directing the secretary to let me get this to take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education and return authority over education to the states and local communities. This is going to be a fucking disaster. It is going to be a fucking disaster. Disaster.
Yeah.
So first off, let's think about it directly impacting the states that voted for him. A lot of their budget for education comes from the federal government. If you turn that spigot off, then you have to go and look at the coffers of the state. If the coffers of the state are not enough, then you go, the state is going to stick on the municipalities.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to pretty much take us to 1957, 58, when separate but equal were allowed under the law. Because the communities that have will provide good housing, good quality teachers, books,
Mm-hmm.
labs, so on and so forth, computers, tablets. The communities that have not will have books from the early 2000s, if not earlier, in 2030, 2040, and 2050.
Right.
Because they're going to be more concerned with getting the best quality teachers they can
Mm-hmm.
and keeping those buildings standing for as long as they can.
Mm-hmm.
Without that, and if they don't focus on that, guess what they're going to do? Raise your damn taxes in order to pay for those teachers, those schoolhouses, and make sure your children are educated.
Mm.
Again, this cat wants to declare martial law.
Yeah.
And the way he can do that, the easiest way he can do that is to piss so many people off that they start going to the streets and popping off, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
In his mind, his summation, that is going to give him the authority to say that we cannot conduct a national election
Yeah.
because any national election under those circumstances would be tainted. Since there's no national election, I cannot be removed from the White House because a duly appointed replacement has not been named by the people. And since I was the
Mm.
last duly elected official for the people, then you cannot remove me.
Mm.
This is going to go to the Supreme Court, which, under its current makeup, I ain't too sure they're going to disagree with him. Even though, if you go back to the Civil War, we pretty much were in the same situation. And
Mm.
elections happened, and Lincoln won.
Mm.
He was assassinated because that shit didn't work. They wanted him out, and he didn't lose. That's why he was assassinated.
Mm.
So, um,
Mm.
who knows? Who knows? But if
Mm.
I had to get a crystal ball reading, that would be my thought.
Mm.
Bro, what do you see as a former educator happening if this is actually allowed to happen?
You know, I'm thinking about the September clocks of the world, and it's National Women's Month. I'm thinking about the Jasmine Crockett's. I'm thinking about the Wisdom Mausis. I'm thinking about the uh, intellectual, educated Black women, the Alberta Gillespies, the Dr. Rashida Fishers. I'm thinking about my cousin, uh, Diana Peterson. And what I'm saying to myself is this is that part of that attacking Black girl magic that I told you that would happen because Black women are the most educated group out of all
Yep.
groups in the country. And they were going to start
Yep.
kneecapping the things that Black women were benefiting from and government aided jobs and things of that nature. And even though we're not getting fairly treated in these positions, it's still positions and dollars that we have that we can put money towards running our own campaign or supporting an oppositional campaign. What they're trying to do is starve off the opposition. You won't be educated, you won't have dollars. And if you're not educated, then you're a dumb populace. And that's what the Republicans love, a dumb populace. You have to always ask yourself, why does one party want the populace to be uneducated? That's something to think about. But the other side of it, y'all, and I want y'all to hear this clear, is that Lee just was talking about his grandfather's place in South Carolina. The South is underdeveloped still. I'm gonna say it again. The South is
Some,
underdeveloped still. I lived in Mississippi in 2006. I saw what was going on after Hurricane Katrina.
mm,
They still have shotgun houses. They still have people who are living in places that you could not live in the North or the West, right? And that's a Southern thing. Now, if you're underdeveloping people in housing, imagine putting schools in the hands of those people. It's shady business. It's going to have a lot of white folk only schools. The same week that he's signed this executive order, he's also made sure that government contractors don't have to put the verbiage in saying that they don't have whites only bathrooms. Blacks come through the back. So to me, y'all, they're going to wreck the education of the nation because they don't want people that's going to rise up to challenge them in the next 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years. They need people uneducated because if you knew your rights, then you would know when your rights were being violated. And one last point.
mm.
If you're sitting at home saying, man, they thinking about giving us $5,000.
Oh, yeah. Big money.
The last calamity. Keep in mind, every time they give you something, it costs you something triple. Last time they gave you money, they didn't tell you that they let a virus unleash on you all. Don't believe that this thing just seeped out of some lab in China and somehow made its way to America. His poll numbers were down. When they start talking about giving you money, they're forecasting that the numbers are down, and they'll create another calamity where you're like, oh, I'm scared for my life. Or they'll say, hey, we'll give you the money for your kids' education. You go shop. When the last time outside of a daycare have you went shopping for your kids' school? Do you know a good school from a bad school? Were you a good student or a bad student? Are you smarter than a fifth grader? If you're not, then you probably shouldn't be choosing the school for your child. I just want you all to be looking for the twist because here it comes.
Not only that, so at the same time, included in this um, move to dismantle the Department of Education, he also announced that the Small Business Administration would take over the student loan portfolio.
Oh, ain't that something?
Or, yeah, the Department of Education. And understand something. We are talking about a boatload of money that the Department of Education provides to the states. Annually, we're looking at 15 billion.
Mhm.
That supports roughly 7.4 million students in our nation.
Mhm.
Not only that, not only the vulnerable populations. Well, let's back up. Not only the minority populations will be adversely impacted by this, but what about the vulnerable populations? How many teachers will stick around to teach your child who is on the spectrum? How many teachers will stick around to teach your child whom has any other type of learning disability or just
Badass kids.
well, he said it, I didn't. That's what I was aiming at, though. Yeah, seriously, like so. Teachers are already underpaid now. They're definitely underpaid for what they do.
Yeah.
How many of them are going to stick around? How many of them are going to flee to those more affluent communities that can pay them more money? Yeah, this is a assault on fundamental Americanism, not American rights, but Americanism,
Mhm.
fundamental. And this does nothing to, in the words of this administration, make America great again. It doesn't. It sets us back. Big time sets us back.
Mhm. Well,
I
let me.
Go ahead.
The cold part about this, y'all, and I mean when I say cold, it's cold, is that You ain't got to do this. You ain't got to do this, but you're doing it with a WWE executive.
Lord have mercy.
I mean, what all kind of scandals they've had over at that company with steroids and the whole nine. And what the hell does Linda McMahon know about education?
And the education system.
She rich. That's all I
Except for she wrote a check.
She's rich. They're all right. But Democrats, here's an opportunity. See, man, y'all gotta come out with these slogans. What y'all need to start promising is upon the first day of ousting Donald Trump, you guys are going to wipe out all debts of Americans. You start a fresh start program. We start from student loans all the way to credit cards. And you tell Americans, the banks have had their run. The oligarchs have had their run. They've had two terms of Trump. If you ain't got what you got at the time that the getting was good, you ain't meant to have it. You wipe that shit out. You tell Americans, you're going to get a fresh start. We're going to give you access because we're breaking up all of these equity firms. That got to go so you guys can afford housing at a reasonable rate. We're going to open up investigations on mortgage companies. We're going to make sure, because this is what drives school tax. I just want to make sure you guys understand where I'm going when we're talking about education here. The more homeowners you have in a community, their property tax goes to the schools. And if more people own the homes around, they will be more invested in the schools. Because, hey, little Joe, I paid for your first grade ass to know how to read.
I guess you weren't done with the cursing, huh? Well, but you're right. But you are absolutely right. And that's why I said that this is going to adversely affect
poor people.
Right. Poor people. Period.
Or them
suburbs, inner city. And the working poor. Let's not just the poor, but also the working poor. Hell, even the lower middle class at this point. You know what I'm saying? Because $100,000 ain't what it used to be. Making $100,000 a year ain't what it used to be.
When you talk about oligarchs and they racing to make billions and trillions,
right?
And you still talking about 100,000,
right?
You already underserved.
Say that again, sir. Say that again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we have to be mindful. You said on your show earlier today, bro, you said all politics are local. All politics are local. And understand that this will locally impact you in one form or another. If it's not them coming to raise your taxes, if this actually goes through, if this is not them coming to raise your taxes in order to pay for the schools that are in your neighborhood, if it's not the federal government actually being allowed to do this, if it's not your state being strong enough with its income to do this. There's something else I read, and we talked about Tesla earlier. Now we're talking about education, and we're talking about states, right? States are having difficulties paying for roads. Do you know why?
No, why?
More EVs are on the road. The taxes for gas is the money that they use
to pay for roads,
to make roads and the bridges. Correct. So that money gonna have to come from somewhere. Money gonna have to come from somewhere. Cigarettes, liquor. I would not doubt if they came after other things other than cigarettes, hookah. I would not doubt if they came for they're going to find a way.
Hotel stays, Lee. You know how they do you?
Not only that, they're going to find a way to have marijuana legalized so that it can hit the books officially, so those sales can be taxed as well.
But here's what's crazy about marijuana, in our community. And hear me out on this, y'all. Not like your brother who you had on the show that had the farm near Soul City in Carolina.
Right.
There's a lot of food deserts in our community. And you Negroes are thinking about farming marijuana versus farming food to eat.
Right.
Look around. I'm going to keep on saying, look around. Read the room. You might not want to get the munchies if you might get captured in your ass for going to get food because they just starved you out.
Right. Right.
We smoke good, but I'm hungry as hell. You better look
Hungry as
around.
hell.
You better look around, and this would be a good time to be a grocer in our community because it's going to be an abundance of need for you. And just the way you was weighing, you're gonna weigh up them little baggies of weed, right? Now you can sell some
collard greens,
some greens,
mustard,
some mustard, some cabbage, some peas, some green beans, and you might be able to say, "Hey, it's $20 a basket." Same way you gonna say it's $20 at the dispensary, and instead of you getting higher than the Waldorf, now you can feed your family for a little bit for a couple days. That's the type of innovation that we need in our community. And I know the cannabis farmers here think I'm like, they be like, yeah, you ain't with the weed stuff. I'm like, yeah, because I don't smoke. But even more, I'm looking at the time, I'm looking around, I'm like, wait, you guys done boycotted Target, y'all done cost them billions of dollars. They go belly up. Where we go get our supplies from, y'all? Walmart? Because soon as you knock Target out, Walmart gonna triple the prices.
Dollar Tree with their highest prices.
Dollar Tree gonna become $10 tree.
That's it. It's already $1.25. It's gonna be $1.75 pretty soon.
So we got to think about it from that vantage point. So if we got a chance to grow our food or grow food and serve our community, and I don't mean serve like you're giving it away for free, but you can still sell or barter services because you may be a great farmer and a terrible plumber. Or you may be great at farming, but you need your car fixed or your tractor fixed. Learn how to barter, but also learn what crop, because crops should be determined by the needs of the people. And I'll say this last piece. The FDA has yet to legalize marijuana where they take your cash in and protect it in a bank.
Yep.
Do not play with this president.
Yep.
Do not play with this man whatsoever. Don't get to screaming your rights because he's doing everything through executive orders. He's not running anything through Congress. The Board of Education was put in law by Congress. Now, this is one of the scariest Congresses of all time. And Punk Schumer, not Chuck, but Punk. That's Punk Schumer. Punk Schumer is willing to give in. And so is old Dirty Dick down there in Illinois. I know you voted, you was a part of that 10 too, Dick Durbin. But what most people don't know is that them Democrats in Illinois are some of the racist Democrats on the planet. Illinois is a mostly Democrat-led state. And you go to Southern Illinois and some parts outside of Chicago, you're going to find some of the worst races that you can find in the country. So keep that in mind, y'all, while we are talking about the Board of Education. And this man is just, he's talking about Biden in an electronic pen. His pen is manic.
Lord have mercy.
His pen is manic.
Don't get me started with that. All right, last thing before we close out. We got like 12 minutes left. I figure we'll get at least 6 to 8 minutes up in this here. Then we'll say we need to say and get on out of here. The astronauts return to Earth.
Okay.
The surface of Earth, that is. Now, there's been a lot of talk about this, and they again, your boy Elon and Trump claimed that they were left out there because of political reasons. And the astronauts themselves have taken to interviews and social media saying that was not the case. There was a plan for them to come back, which was laid out late last year, September timeframe. And the plan was for them to come back in February of this year. February, March of this year. Well, everything went pretty much according to plan.
Yeah.
There was some helium leaks up in the space station that was causing concerns. There needed to be some additional data taken before it was deemed safe for them to come home. There was also a desire to keep the International Space Station manned, so they were left up there because of that as well. But again, they understood that they were not going to be back on the surface of the planet until February time frame of this year.
Mm.
Uh, Andrew Mogensen, he is a former SpaceX astronaut from Denmark. Him and Elon got into it on social media. Elon was saying that there was a launch earlier that they could have been back on. He offered seating on that launch to bring them back, but they were held up because the Biden administration wanted to save face and not bring them back until after the election. Um, the astronaut refuted that, saying, basically, he said, very well, just like I know, that the original plan laid out last year was for them to come back in February. And they are coming back like it was all planned out to be. No one has said anything since then. It's pretty much been a quiet mute point since they had the exchange. But in general, it's tiring seeing this administration constantly complain about the last administration versus doing what they said they were going to do, which is bring down prices, bring the war to Ukraine to an end on day one.
Right.
I don't know what day it's going now, but it ain't day one. Trump is now, well, not Trump himself, but the administration actually approached Denmark to ask for their help with our egg crisis because they have a lot of eggs over there. Now, remember, these are the same folks that he's fighting with over Greenland. But he actually, the administration actually reached out to them to ask for help with our egg crisis, which actually is supposed to be getting better. I saw an article about that yesterday, maybe the day before. It seems like the outbreak of the bird flu and whatnot wasn't as bad as folks thought it was going to be, and we're rebounding sooner than expected. But for folks who claim to have the best, the greatest, the brightest, again, it's getting old hearing them constantly complain about what the former administration did not do while still not delivering on what they said they were going to do. That's the old part. Politics is politics. You're supposed to blame the last administration about shit. That's how this works. That helps solidify your job, remind the people why they made the decision that they made. But you're also supposed to do what you said you were going to do. And as of yet, I've not seen that. I've seen a lot of vengefulness. I've seen a lot of spite. I've not seen enough leadership. I've not seen enough policies actually being put forth that helps us move forward. To Brother Barry's point, all of these things, all of these actions thus far are coming through executive order, and executive orders can change when the next executive shows up. They're not laws. They're directives. There's a difference. Laws stay intact. Laws stay in place. They may be ignored, as this administration is doing in some cases, but even that has consequences. The folks getting their jobs back, the folks being hired and then told to go home, but with pay. How is that saving money? Please explain that to me. Help me understand how that makes sense. So you told me to come back to work, Now you're telling me to go home. You told me to leave work because I was a part of a car saving measure. Now you're telling me come back to work, but I can stay home, but you're still going to pay me. So
Mhm.
what was the sense in you firing me in the first place? I don't get it. Please help me understand because the math ain't mathing
I can
at
tell you
all.
why they're doing it. I can tell you why they're doing it.
Go ahead, bro. We got 5 minutes left. Go ahead.
Because if you are in those departments and you understand how operations work, you can tell when they're lying. And if you
Absolutely.
can be oppositional and you can tell, then they don't want you to do it because you're right
Right.
there with the live data, and that's how you get leaks. One of the things I wanted to say about eggs, real quick. I went to the store. Eggs in my community went up by $2. They were 10, now they're 12.
Are you
So
serious?
they're serious. So, and that is a 12,
Oh, $12
12.
for a dozen of eggs?
Yeah. So I want you guys to understand that this is crazy because I would say back
You,
in November, I could have got those eggs for probably $4.99. So
hold on,
don't let
bro. So you know me and Rodney coming up, right? You need to
yeah.
hit me to them egg prices before I come up. I might need to make a couple extra dollars while I'm up there. Shit.
Well, we should. I think that because we're a farm state, so we should that should tail off because we have our own distribution close by.
That's crazy. Hey, that's crazy.
No, brother, look, this is the price. You tell all these companies that you're going to hit them for DEI. These companies are not hiring the way that they could to be productive. They're losing revenue share. We only have Target, 3M, Best Buy, right? And a few other corporations here.
That's on the last leg, but okay.
You're going, Target headquarters is here inside of Minneapolis. So you got to understand, we're taking a major hit. That hurts the economy. Target is one of our major grocers on top of Super Value. So when you start playing these parlor games, it's tough. It's tough.
Okay. All right. This is bittersweet news. Um, how do you pronounce the sister? Quentin Brunson, the sister from Abbott Elementary.
Oh yeah, she gonna get her brother now. Thank God.
Yeah. Same thing I said, and I hope it's me because she's short. I like short women. She's filed for divorce from her husband, and yeah. Quentin, damn, I got it right. Uh, Now she just acknowledged this boy the other day, and now she's kicking him to the curb. She did. She just acknowledged the boy. What last year before last, something like that. They've been married for a couple of years, and
Hollywood on fella.
I think you're right, bro. I think she's gonna get herself a brother now. You know what I'm saying? I don't. I,
She gonna try at least.
I'm never happy when people lose at love. Never happy about it.
Me neither.
Never happy.
Me neither. And I'm gonna tell you, once you hop on that fence, his sister's hard for you to come back. So you might want to stay over there with old boy. Make that marriage work.
Mm.
Go have some kids and live it out.
The only exceptions to that rule for me would be Felicia Rashad, Victoria Rao, and Angela Bassett. So if they ever get divorced,
Well, Felicia did get a divorce from her mom.
it's on it popping, dog. It's on it popping. You hear me? Shit. Look, y'all might have to calm your boy down because I'm being stalker 100%. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I'm telling you right here on the air, so it's recorded for infinity. We did lose George Foreman. He was 76 years old, two-time world heavyweight champion, gold medalist in the 68 games in Mexico City, father of 12. Famous not only for his grills, but also the Thriller in Manila with the great Muhammad Ali. May you all rest in peace. Three kings up there now sitting atop and looking after all of us. You know, that's a very serious thing. Next week, I got an invite to go to the Women's and Business Expo and Symposium here in Atlanta. Press credentials came through. We were invited to the red carpet, so I'm going to try to show up and show out for that next week. But family, until then, if no one's told you, You all be safe. We love you. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it. Brother Barry, thank you for your time, brother. Y'all be easy till next week, family. Peace!